top of ARM's infrastructure or architecture, which costs us over $1 billion a year. We're going to scrap that and do it on top of this open source standard, which is free. Random Blather, how deep is SoftBank? They own them. Very deep. Glup asks, what companies make ARM-based server CPUs? I love this question. You know of Ampere. Ampere is a very sexy company in the future, by the way, but they're private. Who wants to name a current company who is designing ARM-based server CPUs? Tell Glup. Qualcomm is one. Yes. Keep going. There's more. Sagano's fundamentally right, Glup. Microsoft, Amazon. Amazon's big in it. Google. ARM should hire some of Qualcomm's lawyers to get paid a percent. You're not wrong. Go Rebs. How will Intel fuck this up? $1 million question. Yep, Marvell does. By the way, AMD designs ARM too. No one realizes this. Xilinx is ARM-based. Pasado, my understanding, is also ARM-based. Oh, so just your current portfolio. Yeah. ARM is a bet that more compute infrastructure on data centers moves away from x86, which is Intel and AMD's world, into ARM. The problem is ARM may try to raise prices. If they do, there's a third option out there, RISC-V. You think Intel is one of the contributors? There's lots of contributors, yes. So yeah. ARM IPO is hilarious. It is going to be more expensive than NVIDIA in terms of how they're valuing the company. NVIDIA's printing cash. ARM is not. ARM has to spend a lot of money. A lot of money. Isn't Altera ARM 2? I think so. I think so, yeah. The whole point behind a lot of the FPGAs tend to be ARM, the different instruction set, yeah. How good is RISC? Tommy, at this point, this is the part I think the most people need to remember, okay? Much like AI GPUs, it's not the hardware, it's the software ecosystem around it. And right now, RISC-V does not have the software ecosystem around it. One day that will probably change. That's what will drive it. You can get, I'm sure, really good designed in terms of process node, in terms of transistor count, density. You could probably get a very good chip that's prepped to run RISC-V. The problem is, like, what are you running on it? Remember, software is different across instruction sets. That's what defines it. Has anybody ever had an app for an iPad or iPhone that you've managed to run on your PC? Notice it looks different, it behaves different. That's because you're essentially running almost an ARM emulator inside your x86 chip. Yeah. That's also why Apple infrastructure nowadays doesn't work the same. There used to be different reasons, but now it's predominantly the ARM versus x86. So. Rad says, so essentially ARM management fucked up their business model and now trying to IPO to fix it and we'll have to fake. That's a very good way to phrase it. Yeah. Yeah. By the way, I'm going to say a viewpoint I have. Not everybody has this. This is my viewpoint and my viewpoint only. All the talk of all these different companies like Samsung and Qualcomm and NVIDIA trying to be big investors into ARM, I think it's a smokescreen. I don't think they want to jump in at all at the current valuation. But they're not going to admit that. Remember, NVIDIA was talking about acquiring ARM, and that deal got blocked because if NVIDIA had ARM and they had the ability to deny Apple from re-upping architectural licenses or Marvell, they would have destroyed the market. Sagano, I actually love this comment. You thought they went private to fix their business model. That is true. Originally, ARM's ARM's private nature. ARM was considered, they had to be, quote, the arms dealer, get it? They had to be very open in their licensing agreements because otherwise they could literally like destroy the development of like the mobile phone ecosystem specifically. So yeah. Rad, if their tech is so good, is a hostile takeover a risk when they IPO? Who are you talking about? Ampere? The answer is almost certainly going to be yes. If you're talking about ARM, the answer is almost certainly going to be no. Okay. The reason why is because the second they have a hostile takeover, every single country in the world will basically block it. If NVIDIA was not allowed to acquire them, it's hard to imagine a lot of other companies that would be allowed to. Which country will it IPO in? The US. The US. Mies says, you think Qualcomm will try RISC-V to stay independent? Not just to stay independent, but also to keep ARM from exercising too much market power. If ARM tries to change their licensing agreements, that could be a huge cost implication for Apple, NVIDIA, Amazon, and Qualcomm. So if they develop then the ARM or the RISC-V ecosystem, it kind of mitigates that concern. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about ARM China. I will tell you this much. If you find this topic interesting, okay, because ARM is one of the most important companies in the world, go through a Google search on the story of ARM China. It is wild. That's why I think you will not see an acquisition of ARM. Now, there was another question above I want to get back to. Pepistachio. Meta announced recently they're designing their own chip for training and inference. Correct. And I believe that was in partnership with Broadcom. Yeah, that's the fucked up thing. Pepistachio. When you look at, for example, TSMC's customer orders, right? Like the size of their customers, you'll notice Broadcom's really big, but Google doesn't show up. It's because Google works in partnership with Broadcom. And a lot of times that's because when you're designing your own chip, there's only so much of the chip you need to design. You can just buy the other modules, the other kind of blocks or components from a company that already has it, so you don't get sued for violating their IP anyway. It's kind of cool, but it's a good point. The ARM China saga is awesome. You think that's what Peter Zahan talks about when he says piracy and privateer? Oh, they literally took it over. China took over the local branch of ARM, and now there's like a competitor running around in China, like funded by the guy that was originally the president, despite the fact that ARM tried to fire him. It's fucking wild. Anyway, back to the market. Look, the SPY's trying to go flat today. It's trying. It's trying. Give it credit. Don't scare it. Today ending flat would actually be hilarious to me. Jordy, they didn't take it over. He has the seal. He's the king. That's the rules. It's true. By the way, Medtronic reported earnings. Beat and raised. Beat and raised. Medtronic is a boring company. Note, I have shares in them. I'm going to hold them probably for a long time. They're going to pay a dividend. I don't know if I'm playing NVIDIA yet. I kind of want to. I was a little bit worried seeing NVIDIA absolutely fucking moon yesterday. I think expectations are really high. But the counterpoint to that is I think NVIDIA is going to surprise. You can play NVIDIA probably by playing anyone else in the semiconductor side with the probable sole exception of just AMD. And Bitaska, after hour on the first big green candle. By that time, you know the results. They report at 420. So your ability to get call options are at least destroyed. Reinvest. Shut up, go Ribs. Yeah, okay. NVDL makes sense too, yeah. Gotta be conscious. It almost certainly depends on the hold, yeah. Chad, question. Are bears inherently evil? No. Your mom says yes. No. I think that there is a sub-component of bears, all right, which you may sit there and say they're just, quote, doomers. They just want the world to burn. It's different, though. It's not what I call a traditional bear. Most bears are fine. Glup Shadow says the finance sector has been absolutely fleeced in the last month. Correct. Correct. Downgrades happened this morning. Citi is the one that should be down. The commentary that came out of Macy's was not good for them. Yeah, there's bears and alt bears, or Q bears, yeah. That happens. See, that is now the time to accumulate banks. I'm not touching them. Jack's followers were smart enough to talk him out of NVIDIA puts again. God. Always remember, Jack, if you're watching, I'm always willing to jump on the phone with you, my friend. But yeah, don't play them yet. You've got time. The bubble will eventually deflate. Just as I have before, believe it or not. I know Sir Jack. He's a very nice guy. The bottom line for today's J Chat, you want excitement and swings, you got Nvidia, AMD, Amazon, etc. You want stability and divvies, you got pharma and banks. Pharma in particular. Like, I'm sorry, like, why is UNH down? A question I consistently have to ask myself. Why? See, what bubble? AI is absolutely going to be in a bubble. But we are probably nowhere near it popping. By the way, NVIDIA can fall 20% on earnings, and I will still tell you it's still early on in the bubble. People want to pretend like we're in 1999 or 2000. We're probably closer to 1995. Probably on institutional rebalancing, almost certainly. Yeah. Lost in the mix for tomorrow. What do I have thoughts on Autodesk? I will avoid Autodesk right now. I would avoid them. I did see channel checks. I think it was from Mizuho talking about software. Autodesk did not have a positive read through. Autodesk, by the way, for a software stock is cheap as fuck. If you're talking about a long-term holding, Autodesk is probably really good. It's trading at 24 times PE. They have a stock buyback. They don't issue huge amounts of stock. This is a really good company, basically a market leader in a platform play for digital design and digital engineering. This is an amazing company for a long-term hold. I'm always going to be a fan of them. Short-term, yeah. They have some execution issues. Just a treat. Is it at risk for Adobe? I don't think so. By the way, who's making money from AI? I assume we're following a similar path to the internet. So right now it's hardware, specifically training hardware. That's why I think you see companies like Broadcom and NVIDIA doing very well. Then we will move to inference hardware and software probably at the same time. Particularly, I do not like Palantir. Sorry, guys. I do not like C3AI. Palantir has a really shitty corporate structure, and I literally think C3AI is a scam. I like fucking Accenture. Accenture will help companies migrate and implement AI. Caffeine asks, what's the better sympathy play for NVIDIA, SMCI or Broadcom? Broadcom, probably. C-Dot, what's C3AI? Oh, God. It's a scam. The ticker is AI. It's the AI ticker. Wait, we talking about investing in a French company? Nope. Y'all talking about Dassault. If y'all want to invest in a European software company, SAP's out there. They don't have customers. They have hostages. NVIDIA reports tomorrow. NVIDIA's earnings are tomorrow. And I think they're going to do very well. The problem is expectations. And I'm not talking about, by the way, for expectations. I don't mean what FinTwit's saying. I'm not talking about what Reddit's saying. I'm talking about what analysts are saying. Analyst price targets are moving up for a reason. All right? Everyone knows they're going to do well. Everyone knows they're going to do well. The problem with that is that everyone knows they're going to do well. Potters fan, sorry, I'm not ignoring you. What'd you say? I must have missed it. And Spencer, doesn't a company like ServiceNow have great support to incorporate their AI solutions? Why do they need Accenture? Oftentimes, when a company's trying to implement AI, they will reach out to a consultant company who will then help them pick the combination of hardware, software, etc. So you're not going to try to go about your AI aspiration. If you don't know shit about AI, but you're trying to discover it, you're more likely to reach out to a Deloitte, a Bain, a McKinsey, an Accenture, than specifically a hardware provider, or sorry, a software provider like ServiceNow. Does that make sense? Yeah, I bought a September call earlier, a September 22nd call. I got one of them. Cassius Clay, strong Datacom, 800G AI. Ooh, interesting. Announced NVIDIA as a 10% customer. Who are you talking about? FN? Who is that? I've heard of them before. Yeah, Fabrinet. Yeah. Good God. Yeah, advanced optico, electromechanical. Yeah. What's their size? Okay. Not bad. SAP has hostages. I've worked in SAP implementations before. I've worked Workday. I've worked SAP/SuccessFactors. I've done IBM Connexa, ADP Payroll a little bit. Yeah. Workday is this Friday. Yep. I think there's a lot of differentiation in the software world. Let's go to earnings for a second. Let's look at the earnings. Thursday? Okay, yeah. So today we have Toll Brothers, Lazy Boy, and Urban Outfitters. I don't give a shit. Tomorrow, though, Peloton, AAP, Advanced Auto Parts, Analog Devices, Kohl's, Foot Locker, Williams-Sonoma, Bath and Body Works. A lot of people were asking my viewpoint on Analog Devices. I'm avoiding them. Analog Devices, ADI, super cool company, very well managed. All right, great company. If you buy shares of ADI and you hold them for a long time, you're almost certainly going to be happy. The problem with ADI is their competitor, Texas Instruments. Texas Instruments has been calling for lower prices. They've lowered prices. There's apparently a price war going around right now in certain analog and mixed signal semiconductors where they compete. So that's not necessarily good for ADI. People calling for Splunk calls? Why? Wasn't CrowdStrike supposed to be this week? I thought CrowdStrike was this week. I'd be cautious playing Splunk. Unless you know for a fact. I mean, the funny thing is tomorrow we get a major tech day. Snowflake, Splunk, Autodesk, NetApp, and NVIDIA all in the same day. CrowdStrike's the 30th? Got it, okay. Papa Buffett supposedly still holds Snowflake as of his last 13F, yeah. Snowflake is a really cool company. I would not touch them. Literally, NVIDIA, I feel, does very well. I don't know how the stock reacts to it. The company's going to do very well. I have no read-through on Snowflake, Splunk, or Autodesk. The closest I've heard, let me see if I can pull it up. There was a channel check commentary about it. Was it from... No. I think it was from Kaushik. He usually posts them. So yeah, Citi on Snowflake. We are cautiously optimistic heading into their Q2 results that we have seen the last guidance cut from optimization headwinds. Our partner inputs from Snowflake's June conference indicated sales cycle elongation persisted. Basically, what used to take 2 weeks now takes 2 months because customers aren't sure. We see medium long-term tailwinds from expansion into adjacent workloads, given Snowflake's entrenched data platform position, which is reinforced by positive customer partner inputs. Maintain our buy rating, especially with the stock relatively flat since they reported, and our view that estimates have likely bottomed. Twitch streams, Lowe did well. I did not think they did as well. Lowe specifically called out weakness in the do-it-yourself market. Same message as Palo Alto on the longer sales cycle? Yeah. Absolutely. You likely have a service called Snowpipe. Sounds like something you'd smoke meth out of. By the way, does everybody know what these companies do? It's okay if the answer is no. Snowflake in particular, it's a cool company. It's a cool product. Snowflake is cloud database software. It solves a really cool problem, which is if you have data in Salesforce, if you have data in SAP, if you have data in Workday, you have all these silos of data. What if there was just one place You could load all the data and it smartly connected it then, right? And you could run off that. The advantage of it is that you are not locked down to a specific cloud provider. So say you get pissed off at Google, who hosts your cloud operation, and you want to now move to Microsoft Azure. The fact that all your data is now held with Snowflake makes it much cheaper, much easier. Because all of a sudden now you can move your cloud provider, but all your data is accessed through this additional kind of database company. Basically, Snowflake exists because people hate working with like SAP S4HANA, Oracle databases, etc. Penny! Welcome back, Penny. I was so happy when I saw you post earlier. Thank you for the sub, and thank you for the 200 bits. Regenerator, except that Snowflake's infrastructure is mainly on AWS. Yes, but that word mainly is important, right? Snowflake may host your shit on AWS, but theoretically, I believe you can be a Microsoft Azure customer, access your data through Snowflake. Snowflake's paying Amazon, not you, right? But yeah, Snowflake's existence, it's a really cool product. It's a really cool product. But it's definitely in existence because all those proprietary database software sucks. Data warehouses at scale, yeah. You gotta remember, guys, if you're changing around your data warehouse software, you're changing around a lot of pre-canned reports or like pre-created reports. All that work goes down the toilet. All of your security permissions. So this is what I used to do for a living. I had really, really high levels of data access. In fact, on the people data front, I always had the best access, period. All right. So all of a sudden, but there were people who worked for me who may have had only limited access. Well, if we switch all of a sudden our database from Oracle to say SAP S4, all of a sudden I'd have to recreate all that security roles to make sure here's what people had access to. It's a fucking nightmare. It's a nightmare. Hey, Bill, recap on the market. Market's boring today. Market is boring today. Yeah, Berkshire's been holding snow. Snowflake is a really cool company. By the way, the big risk for Snowflake, they have a consumption-based model. Basically, you pay per user, you pay per query. The more you use Snowflake, the more you'll spend. Which is a problem. If companies are trying to optimize their spend, if they're trying to lower their spend, people can cut back on using Snowflake. In economic expansion times, you'd rather bet on companies that make money through consumption. And then in economic down times, you'd rather bet on companies that make money per license. So specifically like Workday or SAP. MB Tosca is correct. Databricks is the big competitor, and they're private still. MongoDB is another competitor. My understanding is they're a bit different, though. Regenerator, there's only 2 companies that make software to help get visibility into that spend and get recommendations on how to lower them. Go on, I want to hear this. I'll cheat and say there's not 2, because when I worked for the Hershey company, we paid a certain company a lot of money to go through an effort to identify that. But it wasn't like they had like specific software they ran through. It was a project. We paid Deloitte a lot of money to do that. It's actually a really cool project. I got to work on it. Capital One, huh? That makes sense. More SaaS-like? Interesting, yeah. Yeah, you guys would be shocked. When you work at a large company, again, I'm not naming the company. One company I worked for, we found out we were paying monthly bills to 3 different companies to provide translation services. And the prices were wildly different. Encido, speaking of Workday, you're interning at the Fed and you just switched to them. Nice. Nice. Good luck on your internship, by the way. If you ever have questions, you can reach out to me on the side. I always loved like internships and intern experiences. Like, I think interns are super important. Was the quality equally different? I actually thought the quality was all shit, but yeah. You sure you enjoyed the interns? Shut up. Your internship during college was shitty. The one thing I would like all interns to understand is during your internship, you are a net negative to the company, and that's okay. The point is for you not to make money for the company while you're there as an intern. It's to help understand if everyone wants to have you back so you can help them make money when you're an actual employee. That's it. That's it. You're not supposed to know everything. Don't pretend like you do. You got to help J-Pal with getting his TV to work. Honestly, I assume J-Pal is like a really nice guy. I've interacted with senior level executives. I've met and worked with the CEO of the Hershey company. I worked with him technically twice. And I've met him or have been around him a few other times. The guy was like one of the nicest, most real human. And by the way, I saw him behind closed doors with his executive team. So if I was going to see him be the asshole, that was the time. He was legitimately wonderful. And then I used to get into arguments with the, at the time, chairman of the board of Sears Holdings, Eddie Lampert, on their internal Twitter platform. Which is funny because people like quote newspaper articles talking about him arguing with employees. Literally, it was not just me, but it was absolutely me. Knox event. As a non-American, you don't understand unpaid internships. I hate them. I hate them. Most real companies will not offer up unpaid internships because they're a legal nightmare. They are a legal nightmare. A good proportion of unpaid internships are not legal, by the way. With the way they're structured, they're not legal. In medicine, new grads are overworked for what they get paid. Yeah, but I mean, this was back in 2008, 2009. I can tell you this. I made $6,100 a month as an intern for ExxonMobil in Beaumont, Texas. $6,100 a month as an intern. That was really good. That was really, really good. Glup, is Snow's valuation concerning? Almost certainly, yes. They're burning $850 million. But how much cash do they have? Snowflake is almost to the point where the expectation is they're near. Yeah, they still have $12 a share in cash. So they're probably still doing relatively fine in cash burn. But if you wonder why you invest in a company like Snowflake, look at the sales chart. 2022, 1.22 billion. 2023, 2 billion. They're going to keep growing by over 50%. It's one of the fastest growing software companies. Thursday is very interesting. That's when Trump's going to surrender. That'll be interesting. Let's see what happens. You hired a former public school administrator and he was hell-bent on recruiting unpaid interns. Just, you got to be super careful. Do you know what happens if you fuck up with an unpaid internship? If they file with the Department of Labor and you are found to be in violation, which is really easy, by the way, then every intern you worked for in the past gets pay. Plus, because they get treated as an employee, you get hammered for all the tax component of it too. So from a company standpoint, it's one of the stupidest things you could do. Yeah, you get smashed if you try. And if you're wondering why, it's because basically the government has outlined what it takes to make it a quote legal unpaid internship, and it has like put it this way, you can't have an intern come in where they're just getting you coffee. Like, you are very restricted in the efforts you could have them do. It has to be real life work experience that someone would do. You also have to demonstrate that you are not using an unpaid internship to remove a paid person's job. It's extremely difficult. What the fuck is that, Penny? Earnings plays for today. I have none for today. If I was going to play earnings. Toll Brothers puts. Expectations are really high for home builders. They're the only ones selling houses. The only ones selling houses. Lazy Boy. That's an interesting one. I mean, my question is, when do people buy Lazy Boy products? I.e., do you buy it when you're buying a new house, new set of furniture, or do you buy it to replace existing furniture? I'm willing to bet Lazy Boy is probably the second, and therefore, nope. I don't think Lazy Boy is as much of a new house thing, but maybe I'm wrong. If you think people buy Lazy Boys for new houses, new construction, you probably play them long. I think it's more like a replacement. Essentially, you can upgrade. Therefore, no. By the way, Lowe's this morning had negative commentary on the do-it-yourselfers. Cavitate. All furniture companies do well when the new home market is... But yeah, we got to be a little bit cautious. I think we're in a really weird market in general. My issue is the number... Basically, Cavitate, what's the metric that correlates with their success? Is it new houses being sold, old houses being sold, or all houses being sold? Because right now, the total number of houses being sold is down. We actually got that data, I believe, this morning. New houses are moving. New construction. That's why, by the way, I think the expectations for Toll Brothers is almost certainly very high right now. By the way, the second interest rates drop, I assume these guys are fucked. Because all of a sudden, people will be more willing to move houses, and now they have to compete against existing inventory. You think new homes being built is clearly more interesting? Yeah. And I'm not playing it, Cavitate. It's an interesting idea. The important thing I think that I will point out, this is where I have my promo on one shoulder, by the way, is that Lazy Boy, from a valuation standpoint, this doesn't look like an expensive company. This really doesn't. By the way, market on close, $1 billion to the sell side. Keep your eyes. Usually that means the next day is somewhat good. We'll see. Venkat, how you doing, my friend? Ulta getting punished by Lowe's dicks? Or something else? Padres fan is correct. Ulta getting crushed because of Macy's, which I think makes no fucking sense. Macy's did not have a good quarter. Remember, I think retail is super differentiated. So you guys talk about playing Urban Outfitters. I would go back to their last earnings. What did they talk about in terms of shrink/theft? What did they talk about in terms of inventory? All right. A lot of these whole basket of retailers are getting punished together. I'm not sure it's fair. Ulta getting the dick today does not make sense to me. Target called out beauty strength, particularly strength through their Ulta. Remember, Ulta runs the beauty department for certain targets. All right? And ELF did very well. Meanwhile, Macy's, who did not do well, still called out beauty doing well. And by the way, Macy's does not sell Ulta. On a big furniture front, you read a Wall Street Journal article today that home builders are making smaller homes and new homeowners are buying smaller furnitures. Ooh, like little like tiny chairs and tiny tables. Is that what they're doing? Professor Clown, this is a good question. Does anyone have any recommendation for people who want to learn about how homes are created in America? Professor Clown, I'm going to be honest. The two sources I like the best for shit like this, for exploratory learning, Bloomberg and Wall Street Journal. And honestly, I would go onto the YouTube channels, particularly Wall Street Journal. When they put out a YouTube video, I think they've been fantastic. The Majestic, I love this. It's a real issue, but mostly a cop-out for shitty performance. I'm sure it's a bit of column A, bit of column B. I do think some of the theft issues is trying to cover up operational miscues. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, it's a real problem. I think people are over-focusing on it, perhaps. Penny, thoughts on analog devices? I do not like them. I do not like them. The one concern I have, if they differ from Texas Instruments, this stock probably moons. And I'll be watching it going, Texas Instruments guided down. All right? That being said, Analog Devices is a very good company. All right? It really is. But there is a price war. A price war in China over analog and mixed signal, some of the shittier, cheaper ones. Well, guess what? That's where ADI and Texas Instruments competes. ADI also does have like a lot of automotive content, by the way. And automotive has actually been a bright side. So I don't know how to read Analog Devices. It's a really good company. Not a lot of companies with the type of operating margin, gross margin that these guys have. I think their operating margin is actually much higher than shown here. I think it's like 45%. It's a very good company. Very boring. Yeah, B-Hood, I did read that. Yeah, I thought it was kind of cool. I thought it was cool. By the way, one thought on Macy's Ulta. Go on, Mo. A lot of cool tech from private companies. Yeah, you're like, oh, be public, be public. Fuck. No, B-Hood, if you want to get into that, you need to go find those companies and go see if they're offering up jobs. That's how you get that private company equity, right? Mo says, does Macy's issue speak to mall problems? Almost certainly yes. Ulta is often the same mall, probably. Over the last 2 years, my understanding is Ulta has been shrinking their footprint. I know they did that particularly during COVID. You're about to get a big promotion. Congrats. And leave for 12 weeks of paternity. Good. Congrats, man. Good luck. Good luck. Yeah, no one goes to the mall to know if it's a mall problem. Party on Barth asks, thoughts on 3M? I have no clue. I would not buy them for masks. I've seen all this talk about, oh, COVID and such, new mask requirement. It's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. Penny says malls in China are fucking insane. Malls in Asia are insane. God, the mall that I used to go to when I was in Hong Kong was my grocery store, mall, and metro station. So cool. But yeah, Penny, like malls in Asia are wild. GC Jim, yeah, flies by, yeah. No, seriously, like, congratulations to all you fathers and mothers. Have fun. Have fun with it. Get shit on. That's literally what's going to happen. You will be covered in poo at least one point, or you will get pissed on. And I'm going to be honest. Know this. See my face? I'll be laughing. It's okay. SPY's above 438, but I should correct that to malls in hot Southeast Asian countries are wild. They're basically just giant escapes from 98-degree Fahrenheit and 99% humidity. All right, B Hood. Name a Southeast Asian country that isn't hot, right? Then I'd argue if you go to say like northeastern China, like in Harbin, I assume the malls there are protection from the cold. That's the point. Fair enough. Shit, the mall that I had an ice skating rink. That's where it was. Yep, Kowloon. Yeah. Oh, that was my place. Yep. I busted my ass. Right across the street here in the background, you can't really see it from this picture, of course, was the school I went to. Bulls win, huh? Yep, Bulls win. I have the Bulls winning. Pencils down. If I'm kitchen, you know what? Well, I loved my time in Hong Kong. Hong Kong, Shanghai were just two amazing, very different from each other. I gotta tell people, like, if you get a chance to travel, particularly to Hong Kong, fucking do it. It's if you think cities are dirty, especially go to Hong Kong. It's not. It's a wonderfully clean, beautiful city. I love the people. You want to do Taiwan? Taiwan is another place I want to go to. There's a lot of places I want to go to be fair. Malaysia and Indonesia are the two like that would really be high up on my list. Part of the reason also I want to go to Malaysia is to also check out Singapore, but I also want to enjoy Malaysia itself. Indonesia would be really fun. Penang for the food. Oh. Southeast Asian food's amazing. Chiang Mai for the food. That'd be another good one. Southeast Asian food is king. Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I've always said Mexican food is top three globally. I don't give a shit. Don't at me. That's why I feel bad for all you Canadians. Like, for America, you got to understand, like, having Canada as a neighbor is wonderful, but on the other side, we have Mexico. Oh, by the way, if you're an American and don't appreciate having Mexico as a neighbor, you are fucked up. Go travel. Go travel. The greatest thing. Oh, shut up, domestic. Hard disagree. Too much cilantro, please. I will tell you right now, in particular, if you ever travel and you get a chance to meet Mexicans, particularly in the Eastern Hemisphere, literally batting 100%. I think I've had 4 or 5 instances where I've been at a bar or a club or establishment and I get called over to a table because I'm fucking white. And it turns out it's either one or multiple like Mexican executives who are like, we just saw you and thought you looked fun. And literally some of the best nights of my life. Or drink, like, just amazing. Loved it. Loved it. I don't know how safe Mexico is. I'm talking about the people I've met outside of Mexico and the United States from Mexico. Fucking loved them. Every single one of them. Every single one of them. Sick chief. Whoever said too much cilantro, your mom's. Oh. Cedar, why would you drink with strangers? Because I ain't a bitch. So dangerous. The world was meant to be dangerous to a certain degree. Listen, if you're living abroad in the war on terror, on the war on terror, all right, life as an American was dangerous, right? Penny, I was right about Liar's Dice. My pleasure, my friend. I'm telling you. Sick Chief, did I stutter? What earnings besides so you have Toll. I assume Toll does well, but probably gets punished because everyone knows they should be doing well. Let's see if that holds true. Lazy Boy, I think, is at 405. Let me see. Urban Outfitters is 405. That's the only one we're sticking around for. And I will tell you right now why. Because Hearthstone has a new expansion for Battlegrounds, and I want to play it. That simple. All right, keep eyes on Urban Outfitters. Their numbers should be out momentarily. Yeah, the stream delay should be low. Whoa! Urban Outfitters' first move is up. Welcome to differentiation, my friends. Whoa! By the way, this is why I'm playing Ulta, because Ulta gets punished off of Macy's. If Ulta counters the trend, this fucker moves. Let's see what the numbers look like. Urban Outfitters, EPS, beat. Pretty sizable beat, if this is to be believed. Slight beat on revenue, bigger beat on EPS. Looks like they made money. Penny is correct. It ain't over till tomorrow morning. Yep. Caliara, you think Ulta got punished for Cody? What happened with Cody? C-O-T-Y. Good revs. You said Becky loves Urban Outfitters. Caliata earnings were this morning for Cody? Okay. I thought they were getting... I thought Ulta was punished off of Macy's. Not Moon. Yeah, it's just bouncing around. I have not seen their guidance, so... It looked like Cody in particular. It was a slight miss on EPS. Cody beat revenue. C-O-T-Y beat revenue. I don't think Cody is why Ulta was down. I think Macy's. NVIDIA's Wednesday evening. Yeah, Johnny Boy. NVIDIA reports at 4:20. They've done it like the last like 2 years worth of earnings. They report at 4:20. Yep. Say what you will about Jensen Huang. The man appreciates humor. What's Urban Outfitters' guide? Their guide should be what matters. Oh, look at that. Their inventory. They're burning off inventory. That's good. Holy shit. Urban Outfitters, we are proud to report second quarter sales, we are proud to report record second quarter sales that helped drive a 72% increase in EPS. Also gratifying is that Q2 sales strength has continued to date in Q3. That's the quarter we're currently in. The consumer is consuming. The consumer is choosing what to consume. They're not consuming shit at Target. They're not buying Bud Light. They're buying Urban Outfitter stuff. Fitch just placed the third largest financial institution in Hawaii, American Savings Bank, on ratings watch negative. Pretty amazing timing there, yep. Go Rebs. The one at Avalon was packed the other week. I assume everything at Avalon is packed. He does says, who the fuck buys Urban, though? Trendy motherfuckers, that too. Why are people buying shitty clothes? It's not like they can afford to travel to nice places. Actually, the average person can. Spending is held up. I think there's so many people who want to hear a story of consumers not being in the best position, and I don't think it's true. Recent grads are fuck. Probably. I did see the thing where new job offers were supposedly given 5% less year over year. My understanding is that survey was for small and mid-sized businesses. I would anticipate that was the case though anyway. Upon you make six figures now and feel worse off. I'm so sorry, my friend. Yeah, we're in a really weird financial time. You saw people lining up for $9. Ugh, the fuck. Yeah, it looks like Urban Outfitters did well. I'm not seeing anything about their guidance though. It seems like the story from Urban Outfitters is not just that they're doing very well, they burned off a lot of their inventory. Remember all the companies, all the retailers who had problems with an overabundance of inventory? Seems like they're having no problems, or at least less problems, drawing down that inventory. General rule in America is if it's foreign, upsell it for 400% what it's worth. Ooh, doesn't always hold true. Yeah, unless it's labor, yeah. All right, guys, let's go ahead and wrap up the stream there and introduce you guys to someone by the name of Hold Nut. Hold Nut. Johnny Boy, thank you for the sub. Greatly appreciated, my friend. Tomorrow, I don't know what time I will start the stream. There will be two streams tomorrow. A market stream, then I will stop, and I will come back on for the evening stream. Reminder, alcohol is not only encouraged, it's probably recommended. Not like that. Hold. All right, guys, thank you very much for tuning in, and I will see you all tomorrow, probably twice. Take care, friends. A drunk mandate. Might as well. Peace, guys.